Did Satan have sexual relations with Eve in the garden? Did Satan sleep with Eve in the Greek and Latin lives of Adam and Eve? A few weeks ago, I participated in a Bible discussion where the topics were both intriguing and aligned with scriptural teachings. However, near the end of the session, the host made an astonishing claim. He believed that Satan had a sexual relationship with Eve before she had relations with Adam. I had never encountered this theory before, but after conducting some research, I discovered that it has a significant following in certain religious circles, despite varying interpretations. The theory suggests that Satan, masquerading as an angel of light, 2 Corinthians 11:14, had sexual relations with Eve, making him the father of Cain, one while Adam fathered Abel. Proponents argue that the forbidden fruit symbolizes sexual intercourse. They believe that when Eve ate from the tree, her eyes were opened, Genesis 3:7, and she shared her newfound knowledge of sex with Adam, leading them both to become sexually active and produce children. The serpent seed theory hinges on the interpretation that seduce implies a sexual act between Satan and Eve. According to this view, once Eve gained knowledge about sex, she was seduced by Satan. Biblical account and interpretations in Genesis 3, the serpent tempts Eve by questioning God's command. Now the serpent was more cunning than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said to the woman, "Has God indeed said, 'You shall not eat of every tree of the garden'?" And the woman said to the serpent, "We may eat the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God has said, 'You shall not eat it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die.' Then the serpent said to the woman, 'You will not surely die. For God knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil.' So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise, she took of its fruit and ate. She also gave to her husband with her, and he ate." Some argue that Adam was present with Eve during the temptation, citing Genesis 3:6, which states that Eve gave some fruit to her husband who was with her. However, this interpretation has been contested. Eve altered God's command by removing the words "every" and "freely," adding "or touch it," and changing "surely die" to merely "die." This discrepancy has led some to speculate about Adam's understanding of God's command, although 1 Timothy asserts that Adam was not deceived. Ancient Jewish and Christian sources. A variety of ancient Jewish and Christian texts reference a sexual liaison between Satan and Eve, resulting in Cain's birth. This article reviews these texts and evaluates whether the Greek and Latin lives of Adam and Eve reflect this tradition, or if they were influenced by the Watcher's narrative, which describes fallen angels sleeping with human women. While scholars have debated these issues for a century, it appears that the Greek life does not reference any sexual liaison. The Latin vita, possibly derived from a different archetype, could be interpreted to suggest such a union, but only Latin P explicitly points to a literal sexual relationship. These findings indicate that the Greek and Latin texts did not originally include a seduction of Eve by Satan, and this narrative likely emerged later, influenced by other traditions or attempts to explain Cain's malevolent nature.